All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Going to begin to the core plays for the Masters here in 2021. Just real quickly, going to do that recap of the Valero Texas Open. Hey, Jordan Spieth at 12-1. That was great to see. He might be a name that pops up here as well. Chris Clark, T6. That was great. Corey Connors, Charlie Hoffman, both finished well. Both were top 15 as well. Obviously, Charlie Hoffman almost went out and won that tournament. Those three were core plays for us last week. That continues kind of the run that we've been on. Billy Horschel and Joel Damon were both players that were in our player pool last week when they won. Then we were also on Matt Jones at 70-1 when he won the tournament as well. So far, been going good. Let's get into the picks for this week. All right, guys, so just getting into the breakdown for the tournament here. Obviously, it's Augusta National. We know what to expect from this golf course. We know it's going to play. We've seen it year in and year out. That's why it's kind of one of those higher predictability type of events. Whether we were on DJ to win at the Masters, that was kind of an easier one as well. But, with that, you kind of hit some easier wins here. Just looking at the course, it's going to play, around 7,475 yards. It's going to be a par 72 course. The greens, though, are reported that they're going to be a little bit firmer, which thus they're going to be a little bit faster this year, which to me, kind of an interesting thing to pay attention to. That can make it a little bit more difficult, can make the scoring a little bit harder there, might make putting a little bit more of a factor. And it will be nice to see the fans back at Augusta this week, which there's going to be a limited number of fans. So that's going to be something fun to watch for. Just looking at this tournament, we do know which key stats that we want to be looking at. We're going to be looking at effective ball strike. And once again, that's just me taking another step further with the stats to make them much more predictable. That's why I'm looking at the effective stats, effective greens gained, effective birdie to bogey ratio. And then we see strokes gained tee to green also be a very key stat. If you want to look at par 5 scoring as well, typically the players that have strong par 5 scoring are going to be able to make the cut, which obviously you do want players to make the cut, but this is a tournament where it's such a smaller, reduced field. It pretty much plays like a WGC event, which you guys know in terms of PGA DFS, it's not exactly the events that you want to go on attack, but this is the Masters, so we got to have some fun with it. It is a pretty loaded player pool, and the salaries are super easy. You guys can make a bunch of quality builds. We'll show that to you guys here in a second. Talking about players that have great course history at this event. Obviously, Jordan Spieth pops up, but surprisingly enough, he's a guy that only ranks out top 12 if we look at over the last 4 years. That's because there's a couple of players in there that have a few starts here with only one start, but there's only like 3 players that only have one start in here that are ranking out in the top 10. Sungjae is one of those guys with a solid finish at the 2021. And then we look further. DJ, 4 starts. First, second, and 10th, or 3 starts. Brooks Koepka, 3 starts. 7th, 2nd, and 11th place finish. We look at Rory, 4 straight quality finish. 5th, 21st, 5th, and 7th. John Rahm, same thing. 7th, 9th, 4th, 27th. The thing that I'm trying to get at here is that we typically see course history matter a ton here, that these first timers can't really come out and do well. Once you do get that experience, though, sky's the limit. So really, if a guy has one good start here in their first start, that's good enough for me. But we do want to see those players that have played here before. They typically tend to play the best as well. Just looking at players that are going to be good stat fits. Obviously, we'll dive down into this a little bit more. But obviously, John Rahm's popping, DJ's popping. They're both going to be top 5. Ryan Palmer, surprisingly up there as well. Top 5 for him. We look at Colin Morikawa as well. And Joaquin Niemann rounding out the top 5. And then just other players popping up. Webb, Simpson, kind of cheaper, coming off of a miscut. Corey Connors, definitely mispriced. Already tweeted about that a few times. Victor Hovland, Sungjae, and Abraham Ancer are going to be rounding out the top 10. And then just looking at that recent form, players that have been in the best recent form, we're going to be looking at Matthew Fitzpatrick, Paul Casey. This is recorded before we can update the stats for Jordan Spieth. He would be inside the top 10 right now. He is inside the top 10, but more or less be in the top 5 if we were looking at that then. But Brian Harman's been playing well over his last few starts. A 5th, a 3rd, a 43rd, and a 39th place finish. He's really popping up there. Jason Kokrak actually popping up. And then Danny Willett popping up as well. Going to be interesting there for him. But that's enough, guys. Let's get into the core plays for this week. All right, guys, so let's get into the breakdown for the Masters here. I'm just going to be going over how I always do, which is just going to be highlighting the top 4 plays in each price point range. So we're going to start off here with the high tier price point range. To me, I really like the narrative for John Rahm this week. In case some of you guys don't know, there were some kind of worries that John Rahm might miss this tournament due to the birth of his firstborn child. Turns out that The baby came this weekend, and we're good to go. We don't have to worry about that. I honestly think that that could incite him to go out and really try to produce. We've seen this actually time and time again with a lot of sports, NFL, basketball. The baby narrative is a true thing. So Jon Rahm ranking out as the best player in the model this week, it makes a lot of sense to me that even with that added little boost for him, I think he's absolutely going to be a stud this week. We look at his recent form. Dell Technologies match play, I'm not going to put much into that, but he had a 5th place finish there, a 9th at the Players Championship, 32nd at the WGC event, 5th at the Genesis, 13th at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, 7th at Farmers, 7th at the STOC. Okay, course history, 7th, 9th, 4th, and 27th place finish. We look at all the key stats that we're looking at. The worst key stat that he ranks out in is effective greens gained, where he ranks 37th. Everything else is top 32 or better. Grades out as the best stat fit as well. He has a strong likelihood to make the cut, 89% chance to make the cut. Jon Rahm really just checking all the boxes. I absolutely love him as a play this week. Now we look at Justin Thomas here. Justin Thomas, to me, guys, is going to be a phenomenal play for us this week as well. Justin Thomas is an interesting one, though, because he just typically is a slow starter, and then he gets it together. So the worry is that he might not go out and make the cut. He might struggle, I guess, if you will. I'm not expecting that with Justin Thomas. World-class player. Could be a little bit more accurate, I guess, if you will. We're looking at effective total driving, effective ball striking, effective greens gain. Kind of lacking there, but we look at strokes gain to the green, 5th in that. 7th in effective birdie to bogey ratio. We like that. 3 straight make cuts in a row. Great course history, 4th, 12th, 17th, and 22nd place finish. Just really like where Justin Thomas's game is at. He's an excellent play for us this week. And then we got to go back to Jordan Spieth. Okay, so Jordan Spieth, great course history, as we know. But over the last 4 years, 46th, 21st, 3rd, and 11th. And I think that's a good sign for him, because even when he was not playing well career-wise, really the last 2 years, he was still finding out a way to go out and play well at this event. Now, we know that his stats are not going to be the best, okay? These probably will get better once we get added in the Valero Texas Open stats. I would imagine he'd go from like top 64 stat rank to about, I don't know, 40th or so. But this is where I like to use the specialist page, because if we just look at the, kind of the highlight here over his past 3 months, he has been getting better everywhere. Okay, his game has been getting substantially better everywhere that we're looking at. We look at a strokes gained total rank, 16th, and then the tournaments that he's been playing in, absolutely phenomenal there. So if he continues to do that this week, he's going to have a spectacular tournament once again here at the Masters. Obviously, of course, that Jordan Spieth really loves. And then we're going to look at also Webb Simpson. So Webb Simpson was a letdown at the Players Championship. Had a mud ball on 17. Ball went in the water. All he had to do was make a birdie there, and he's going to make the cut at the Players Championship. I'm kind of writing that off for him. Just maybe kind of a slow starter at that event for him. We look at someone like Justin Thomas, who obviously went out and won the Players Championship. I think if Webb would have been able to find out a way to make the cut, he would have easily been able to go off and have a solid weekend. Really like Charlie Hoffman did this week at the Valero Texas Open. For a lot of these high-end players, these elite plays like Webb Simpson, it's really just a matter or not of them getting past the weekend. It seems like lately, at least, Webb Simpson is going to be a solid play. 10th here in 2020, 5th in 2019, and a top 20 in 2018. Then a miscut in 2017, but we look at effective total driving, top 20, effective ball striking, top 20, effective greens gained, 5th. I want that to be a little bit better, but strokes gained to the green, 34th, effective birdie to bogey ratio, 1st in that. We obviously like that. He's really strong in scoring before the cut. Once again, his recent form is kind of the worry there, just mostly because of that miscut the players, but other than that, been a pretty solid play. So Webb Simpson at 9K does feel like a great price point for us this week. Now we're going to move down into kind of the mid-tier price point range. Now the mid-tier is absolutely loaded. Honestly, guys, I think that a majority of your builds should be coming from this price point range. Just a quality price point range of plays this week. Really from Terrell Hatton all the way down. I'd be fine with any of those players. So if you're finding reasons to play someone else in this price point range, go with it, because it is absolutely stacked. But the first one I want to start off with is going to be Sungjae Im. Well, obviously Sungjae Im went out and played well in his first Masters with that 2nd place finish. Has been in great recent form as well. If you take out that Dell Technologies match play, which once again, I'm not really factoring in that much. We see 8th, 17th, 21st, and 28th place finish. Sungjae Im had been getting better every start. So we do like to see that. Obviously, when a player is getting better, we'd love to see that. Most of his stats are pretty spectacular. Going to rank out as a top 10 stat fit and overall 2nd in the model. So to get Sungjae Im at 8.6, I absolutely love that. To me, he seems like an obvious core play. So he's going to be one of my favorite core plays this week. And then we look at another core play. It's going to be Daniel Berger, guys. So I really do like Daniel Berger here this week as well. point. We look at his stat fit. He's going to be top 15 there, which is making him grade out. Top 8 in the model this week. He has a 75% chance to make the cut. I just think he's kind of a standout play. He kind of got robbed there for the Masters play at 2020. Maybe he's going to be a little bit more keen to what's going on, a little bit more motivated to go out and play well. You look at his recent form, it's been pretty spectacular, really. Pebble Beach won. That was coming off of a miscut. Had a 7th and a 10th place finish before that, and then since then a 35th at the WGC, 9th at the Players, and then a top 20 at the Dell Technologies match play. So obviously he's been playing well. We look at his course history, 32nd and 27th place finish, really not bad. That ranks out top 25 in the field. Overall Daniel Berger at this price point seems safe, but it also seems like he has a lot of upside. So I really do like Daniel Berger at this price point as well. To me, he's going to be another core play for us. So we're looking at Sungjae and Daniel Berger thus far. Really liking those two as kind of starting plays this week. We look at Cameron Smith, guys. What is going on with this price point? I really like Cam Smith at this price point. 2nd, 51st, and 5th place finish here at this tournament at the Masters, which ranks out top 15 in the field for course history. Now, the stats could be a little bit better accuracy-wise, but he's ranking out pretty well in effective birdie to bogey ratio. We like that. Scoring before the cut's great. We look at his recent form. It's been spectacular. 4th at the Genesis Invite, 11th at the WGC. Workday, top 20 at the Players, and then a top 28 finish at the Dell Technologies match play tournament. So overall, I really like Cam Smith. Kind of getting knocked a little bit stat rank wise. Top 40, still not bad. Top 18 in the model this week at his price point. I absolutely love that. Let me look at Matthew Fitzpatrick, who right now he's grading out as a player that has the best recent form. I bet that'll change once Jordan Spieth's Valero Texas Open start gets put in there, but I really like him as a pick this week as well. Look at the course history. It's phenomenal. 46th, 21st, 38th, and 32nd. I say phenomenal. That's really going to be for his price point. But we look at the recent form. 4 straight top 10 finishes. He's another one of those guys where the key stats are not going to be truly indicative of what he's been doing on tour this season, because earlier on he kind of struggled, has figured it out. We can see strokes gained total data. 9th is his average rank here over the past 3 months. Now his accuracy stats could be a little bit better there. That's really a lot of it due to poor strokes gained approach. And I say poor, top 56. I mean, these are all spectacular. They all rank out as a player that would make the cut. So yeah, I really like Matthew Fitzpatrick this week, especially at this price point as well. He's going to be a go-to play for me again this week. And that really rounds out that mid-tier price point range. We're going to get into the low tier, which to me, there's not that big of a difference, I guess, if you will, from the low tier to the value tier in terms of like standout quality plays. Now there's a bunch of quality shoulder shrug plays in that low tier, and we'll get into that right now. All right, guys, so getting into the low tier now, we're looking at someone like Paul Casey. I really like Paul Casey as some play at his price point. We look at his recent form. He's the 2nd best in the field in recent form. That's because he's been a stud recently. American Express, top 8. Pebble Beach, top 5. API, top 10. Players Championship, top 5. Obviously played well at the U.S. Open as well. So really in those major golf tournaments, the high caliber field events, he's been playing well. Now he has somewhat struggled here at the Masters. 38th, miscut, 15th, and 6th place finish. But overall, Paul Casey is going to be still a strong play. He's a top 20 stat rank play, ranks out top 8 in the model, 70% chance for him to make the cut. I really like the price point for him, and that's going to be a price point where DraftKings is just freaking dangling that in front of us. I just think we're going to have to roll with it, because really, I don't want to say, but we really have no reason not to trust Paul Casey this week, which we know when I say that, or with Paul Casey, we just kind of know that that's going to be the reason to fade him. We look at someone like Ancer, clearly mispriced at 7.4. To me, he's going to be easy core play. Once again, we want to look at players that have course history. Now, in his first start here at the Masters, he had a top 15 finish, finishing 13th place here last year. We obviously love that. Would like a little bit more course history, but we're going to roll with that because he is going to be a top 10 stat rank play. Every stat that we're looking at is going to be 49th or better, which is obviously spectacular there. Effective birdie to bogey ratio, top 14 in that. Effective total driving, 26th. Effective ball striking, 24th. Effective greens gained, 30th in that. Recent form has been pretty spectacular. Has one missed cut mixed in there at the Genesis Invite, but besides that, all top 25 finishes. So we can lock in a top 25 finish here at 7.4. Absolutely like that. He has a 68% chance to make the cut as well this week. Then we look at 2 shoulder shrug plays, if you will. We're going to be looking at Louis Oosthuizen and Adam Scott. To me, both these guys are going to be shoulder shrug plays. Adam Scott, he's just been a guy that's finding out ways to make the cut. 13 straight made cuts in a row. Not going to be a good stat fit, but once again, guys, he's just been someone that's been able to find ways to make the cut. Obviously, really good course history, like Adam Scott there. And then kind of same thing for Louis Oosthuizen. Going to be a little bit better of a stat fit. A little bit better course history over the last 4 years, but both guys where you don't really want to go out of your way to play them, but if you end up on them, you kind of feel good about it and you move on with your build from there. All right, guys, so now we're going to drop down into that value price point range this week. Obviously, everyone kind of knows 9 to 5 specialty there. Corey Conners is just a freaking standout play this week. I really don't get it. He's a guy that I really just can't avoid. Now, he's getting knocked a little bit due to the fact that he missed the cut at the Genesis Invite. Don't really mind that. I believe he missed the cut on the number there. And then the Dell Technologies Mass Rally. Don't really care about the 61st place finish. Obviously, once we get in the Valero Texas Open results, top 15 finish there. Going to be strong recent form. As you know, a top 17 finish at the Macoba, top 10 at the RSM Classic, top 20 at the Waste Management, top 10s at the Players and the API. We look at his course history here, 10th here in the fall last year, and then a 46th place finish. So obviously does have that course history, has played well here. Going to be a top 8 stat fit as well. Really the only worry with him is that scoring before the cut, 72nd in that, but once he makes the cut, absolutely spectacular. We look at all the other stats that we want to look at this week, those key stats. Top 28 is going to be the lowest key stat, and that's an effective birdie to bogey ratio. Everything else is going to be top 15 or better. Obviously, we really like Corey Conners as a play this week, and at this price point, I don't see how we avoid him. You know, if you go Sungjae, Daniel Berger, Abraham Ancer, and then Corey Conners, I feel like you're doing the right thing. That obviously is a lineup path that makes a ton of sense. That's going to be a lineup path that I've started with a lot this week and probably going to be one that I continue with this week. Then we get into, I guess, if you will, more risky plays. We look at Jason Kokrak. He is pretty strong in recent form and good stat rank. Now, he missed a cut here in his one and only start over the last 4 years, but, you know, strong stat fit, like I said. I like that. I like the strong recent form. He had 3 straight top 10 finishes there in a row, excluding the Dell match play, which for obvious reasons we can do that. So I like him a lot as a play. Then we look at Matt Kuchar, which Matt Kuchar, I'm not exactly sure if I want to exclude the Dell Technologies match play because it seems like he found something there. And I bring that up because he finished well at the Valero Texas Open, had a top 20 finish there. And if that is true, Matt Kuchar could be a spectacular play at this price point range. That's some strokes gain data that I am very interested to look at. Obviously, I'm recording this on Sunday night, so I won't be able to have that up until probably Tuesday, maybe Monday afternoon. Really depends on the PGA Tour there, but before his miscut there in the fall, where he was playing horrible in the fall, you wouldn't have ended up on him as a play because he was just playing poorly. A 12th, a 28th, and a 4th place finish. So yeah, I really like Matt Kuchar as a play this week. I feel like if they would have come out with pricing today or, you know, Monday like they normally do, he'd be definitely be in the 7K range again this week. I mean, look at Brian Harman. So Brian Harman, I don't mind as a play. Strong recent form with that 5th and the 3rd place finish in his most recent events. Has made 8 straight cuts in a row as well. Made the cut here in 2018. Going to be a guy that kind of just ranks out as a player that's going to make the cut. And as price point 6.8, I don't mind that. He's one of those guys where if we have to play 2 value plays, I'd be fine with him as the second value play. Not going to be someone I go out of my way to play as like the first value play. I think Corey Conners is going to be that guy for us this week. But that's all I have for you guys this week for the Core Plays video. Going to have a lot more content coming out. Obviously, we're going to have the fades, the shoulder shrug plays, the value plays, as well as the betting outright card for you guys. So look for all that content to be coming out this week. If you guys want to join 9 to 5 Nation, the link is in the description below. $10 a month gets you all the features at 9 to 5 Sports there. It's the best value out there for PGA DFS. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing.